MTN share price and technical analysis, and we're on the monthly chart. Before we get into the actual technical analysis, I just wanted to remind you guys that when it comes to the making of buying and or selling decisions, it's best to not only look at technical analysis but also at fundamental analysis, right? So without wasting any further time, guys, let's get straight into the actual technical analysis. And as you guys can see, where, as I said, on the monthly chart, and we have some very interesting price action movement where we see price at this point in time at a very strong level of support, and that is because we've had multiple rejections in and around the zone. And what this means is that we may potentially see the market from where it is move further up, right? To add to this, as much as we have price at this very interesting level of support, just note that the market had also given us this channel over here, which tells us that we have, for the most part, been in an upward trending market. Nonetheless, having said that, we can also see that the market at this point is trying to close below this trend line as well as this very strong level of support. And should that happen, we may potentially see the market actually continue to move further down and at least to around that level. Why do I say that level? That is because at that level we have a very strong level of support where we also have an overextended W structure over here. And as I always say, guys, whenever we have these patterns such as this W structure, we want to see price breaking sufficiently above the neckline, and then in the future coming back to the neckline to give it a test. And at that point rather, is where we would look for those potential buy opportunities. So at this point over here, we saw price breaking to the upside, and then if it does happen, we may see price actually move further down to around this level, in which case it would test the neckline of that W structure. And at this point is where we may look for those potential buy opportunities. Another thing that I also want to bring to your attention is that the market had given us a W formation here, which also had a neckline at that point. And ideally, we actually want to see, before we make any buy decisions, price closing sufficiently above that neckline, and then coming back to the neckline to test it. And as I said, where we have that neckline is usually where we look for those potential buy opportunities, right? To add to this, as much as we have this W structure, the market had also given us another structure, an opposing structure, which is a double top over here, which similarly has a neckline at that point, right? And I said to you guys that at this point we have price at a very strong level of support, and it seems as if it's also trying to close below this trend line over here, right? So what I'm saying, in other words, is that buying or selling within this region is extremely risky, and that is because, as I said, we have contradictory information where we have this W structure as well as an opposing M structure in the same location, right? So what's the best thing to do? The best thing to do, in my very humble opinion, in as far as buying opportunities go, is to rather wait for the market to close above that neckline, and then for it to head back to the neckline to give it a test. And at that point is where we would look for those potential buy opportunities, and especially if that neckline of this W structure aligns with any key numbers that we have in regards to the Fibonacci retracement tool. And if we do indeed buy at this point, our first take profit should be around that level. Why do I say that level? That's because that level is a very strong level of resistance at this point in time, right? To add to this, I just also want to mention that because we had a W formation over here, and remember, guys, whenever it comes to these W formations, what normally happens is that traders and investors buy on the second leg of that W structure, and they place their stop losses just below, right? So it's possible that these three candlesticks over here are actually a stop hunt to grab these stop losses that are located here, and then once that happens, we may potentially see the market actually start to move further up. Nonetheless, having said that, in as far as looking for potential buy opportunities at this stage, the best thing, in my very humble opinion, is to wait for price to close sufficiently above the neckline, and then again wait for it to head back to the neckline to give it a test. And at that point is where we would look for potential buy opportunities. And as I said, that's if this level over here, which is the neckline, aligns with any key numbers that we have in regards to the Fibonacci retracement tool.